Trainspotting, the only film that makes heroin use not just horrifying but also weirdly stylish. We've got dead babies, disgusting toilets, and Ewan McGregor running through the streets of Edinburgh like it's the Olympics for bad decisions. Hey, welcome back to another episode of How Disturbing. I'm your host, Billy Bogues, and as I mentioned today, we're looking at the 1996 cult classic, Trainspotting. On How Disturbing, obviously we review disturbing films and scenes, and although our depictions will be brief and fleeting, viewer discretion is still strongly advised. This is also your spoiler warning. Let's go Trainspotting. The film opens with our main character, Renton, running from the police as we hear this iconic voiceover.
Choose life, choose a job, choose a career, choose a family, choose a fucking big television, choose washing machines, cars.
To kill time, Renton and his pals like to hang out and do heroin in an abandoned building that they're calling Mother Superior's. Oh, look at that. Here's Sick Boy injecting heroin into Alison's arm right now. Oh, and Alison, well, she also has a baby that likes to hang out in the heroin den with her.
All sorts of other shite. Got no money, can't get pissed, got money, drinking too much, can't get a butt.
Just to get it out of the way, this fellow junkie here is called Spud. Not everyone in the gang is on heroin though. Take Begbie for example. He's classed as the tough guy of the group.
No fucking way.
And Tommy here, well, he's the smart one. Anyway, Renton has decided that it's time for him to get clean, and he's going to lock himself in his bedroom while he goes through the withdrawals, and well, he's packed everything he thinks he's going to need.
Ice cream, vanilla, 1 large tub of, magnesia, milk of, 1 bottle, paracetamol, mouthwash, vitamins, mineral water, Lucozade, pornography.
And he's going to begin this entire process after one last hit.
All I need is 1 final hit to soothe the pain while Valium takes effect.
Unfortunately for Renton though, his dealer has no heroin left and can only offer him an opium suppository to slightly ease the withdrawals.
What the fuck are these? Under the normal run of things, I would have nothing to do with it, but this was not the normal run of things.
Opium suppositories? Ideal for your purposes. Slow release. Bring you down gradually.
Renton, reluctantly but quickly, administers them by shoving them up his bum. Now, something that I didn't know is that one of the biggest withdrawal symptoms from heroin use is diarrhea. And it looks as though the diarrhea has come on quite quickly, as Renton has been forced to use the worst toilet in Scotland. Ah, that's better. Only one problem. Now Renton has lost his suppositories. He digs around in the toilet to find them, but, well, no such luck. Whilst all this is happening, Renton's withdrawals quickly manifest into hallucination. Luckily though, even though he is tripping withdrawal balls, he still manages to retrieve the suppositories. Fast forward a couple of days and wouldn't you know it, but Renton has pulled it off and managed to get clean. And he's not the only one. It looks like Sick Boy is following in Renton's footsteps.
Take Sick Boy for instance. He came off junk at the same time as me, not because he wanted to, you understand, but just to annoy me, just to show me how easily he could do it, thereby downgrading my own struggle.
A few days later, we find the newly sober Renton hanging out at his pal Tommy's place. He happens across a videotape that is in fact a sex tape made by Tommy and his girlfriend, and well, Renton is quick to pocket it.
beg beggar's fucking psycho, man. But he's a mate, you know, so what can you do?
Can I borrow this?
And likewise, he's just as quick to watch it with Sick Boy. It's not long before Tommy and his girlfriend Lizzie discover that the video cassette is missing, and Tommy, well, he assumes that he has accidentally returned it to the video hire store.
Where has it gone, Tommy?
It'll be here somewhere! I might have returned it by mistake.
Returned it? Where? The video shop, Tommy! The fucking video shop!
And naturally and predictably, it only takes a couple of months before Renton and Sick Boy are back on heroin.
Took about 12 hours.
Movement, right? You were doing the world a favour, you know, because see what that spitting that was going on when everybody was
It looks easy, this, but it's not.
Even Tommy, who is newly single, is getting in on the gear.
I want to try it, Mark. You're always going on about how, like it's the ultimate hit and that. Better than sex.
Weeks pass and, well, remember Alison, the girl with the baby? She just starts screaming randomly like a mad lady.
Alison!
Tommy, please!
Yeah, cool, dude! Everyone's gonna be just fine.
It turns out Alison has been on quite the bender for a few days and, well, completely forgot she owns the baby. And needless to say, this is quite a tense moment for the crew.
Fucking say something! Huh?
Renton alleviates the stressful situation, however, by preparing some more heroin.
I'm cooking up.
There is a very disturbing shot of said dead baby, but obviously I'm not even going to attempt to show that because, well, YouTube is not the biggest fan of dead baby content. However, I will say that I chose to watch this film with my girlfriend and she cried her eyes out. Yeah, Friday night movies ruined. Anyways, sometime later, Spud and Renton, well, they get busted shoplifting and they land themselves in court.
Because shoplifting is theft, which is a crime, and despite what you may believe, there is no such entity as victimless crime. Heroin addiction may explain your actions, but it does not excuse them.
The unlucky Spud receives a jail term.
Mr. Murphy, you are a habitual thief, devoid of regret and remorse. In sentencing you to 6 months imprisonment, my only worry is that it will not be long before we meet again.
Renton, however, is let off the hook provided that he can get sober. Again.
The suspension of your sentence is conditional on your continued cooperation with this program. Should you stand guilty before me again, I shall not hesitate to impose a custodial sentence.
Thank you, Your Honour.
However, as soon as court is adjourned, Renton practically goes and scores a hit of heroin right away.
Thank you. I'll proceed directly to the intravenous injection of hard drugs, please.
As you wish, sir. As you wish.
And Renton doesn't just score some heroin, no, he overdoses completely. This is one of the most magnificent and cleverly crafted scenes in movie history. Luckily for Renton though, he's quickly ferried off to hospital and doesn't OD.
Just watch your soul.
Unluckily for Renton, however, he's collected by his parents and taken back to the family home to sober up. He is locked inside his childhood bedroom and forced to confront all of the demons that one does when withdrawing from heroin.
I'm in the junkie limbo at the moment. Too ill to sleep, too tired to stay awake. But the sickness is on its way.
The withdrawals he's experiencing obviously are quite severe. First, he sees this.
Well,
It's a good fucking laugh, isn't it? You sweat that shite out your system.
Then he's treated to this little surprise. And Renton's hallucinations culminate in the return of the ever-present dead baby. Jesus fucking Christ, that's wild. After a few days, Renton ends up clean again, but unfortunately, he's also significantly depressed.
I'm negative. It's official. And once the pain goes away, that's when the real battle starts. Depression, boredom. You feel so fucking low you'll want to fucking top yourself.
He tries to alleviate this by going to visit his old friend Tommy. Now remember, Tommy is the guy who was sober but tried heroin for the first time after breaking up with his girlfriend thanks to Renton.
Tommy!
Tommy, it's Mark, man.
And it looks as though Tommy is now a complete, fully blown, accredited heroin addict. And, well, he's not just a heroin addict, he's also a heroin addict who has contracted HIV. This is enough to inspire Renton to clean up his entire act, and he moves away to become a real estate agent.
Beautifully converted Victorian townhouse. Ideally located in a quiet road near to the local shops and transport. This one's 2 bedrooms and a kitchen diner.
And as it happens, he's a pretty good real estate agent.
I quite enjoyed the sound of it all. Profit, loss, margins, takeovers, lending, letting, subletting, subdividing, cheating, scamming, fragmenting, breaking away.
Renton is quite proud of himself and settles into his new life pretty quickly.
Francis Begbie has been on television a lot this week, as he is wanted by the police in connection with an armed robbery in a jeweller's in Corstorphine. Take care. Yours with love, Diane.
However, just as things seem like they're calming down, Begbie rocks up to Renton's place because he needs somewhere to lie low as he'd just committed armed robbery. Good one, Begbie.
Oh no.
Armed robbery? Oh, with a replica? I mean, how the f*** can it be armed robbery with a fucking replica?
And Begbie, well, he very fast overstays his welcome. And because, as we know, birds of a feather flock together, it's not long before the pair are also joined by Sick Boy. What a reunion.
Good chaps.
I can't believe you did that.
I got a good price for it. Rents, I need the money.
It was my f***ing telly!
Renton, however, is not prepared to deal with this bullshit. Instead, he just rents an apartment for Begbie and Sick Boy to live in. Meanwhile, Tommy, from just before, well, he passes away from complications due to his HIV diagnosis.
When there's room on my horse for 2, climb up here, Tommy, don't be dying. I can go just as fast with 2.
Oop, dead. Boop.
Dead.
It seems like the gang is in a bit of a rut. But Begbie and Sick Boy, well, they've come up with a plan. What is their big plan, you ask? Well, it's heroin, obviously. They're going to buy a big giant brick of heroin and sell it off. Only, well, they're a little bit short.
What was your price?
4 grand.
You haven't got 4 grand.
We're 2,000 short.
Well, that's tough.
Look, Mark, every c*** knows you've been saving up down in London.
I'm sorry, boys, I do not have 2 grand.
Renton is reluctantly convinced to throw in all of his savings so that the deal will go through.
Oh, you fucking day. I've seen your bank statement.
For fuck's sake.
2,000.
£133.
And that's not all Renton is tasked with. They also need someone to test out the gear.
What no one told me was that when we bought the Skag, some lucky punter would have to try it out.
Oh, and Spud's here too, by the way. I should mention that. Spud's with everyone. Spud's back. Remember Spud? Turns out that is some A-grade, top-notch heroin.
So I rolled up my sleeve, I spiked my vein, and I did what had to be done.
It's good. Oh, it's really f***ing good.
The four boys meet up with their buyers in a hotel room.
Alright.
And they're all much more than surprised when they manage to pull the whole thing off.
Okay.
They decide to celebrate with a couple of drinks down at the pub, but, well, Begbie, always keen for a fight, gets into a bar brawl. Spud goes to jump in, but he gets his hand cut open. That evening, after the bar brawl, Bigby and Sick Boy are very fast to fall asleep. Feeling used by people who he once thought were his friends, Renton gets retribution by stealing the money. He feels bad for Spud because, well, Spud never really did anything wrong, so he goes back and leaves Spud his fair share of the dosh. As the film closes, we see Bigby trashing the hotel room, and Renton goes to start his new life for the second time. Or third time. Or like seventh time. There's a lot of times.
The truth is that I'm a bad person, but that's going to change. I'm going to change. This is the last of that sort of thing. And I'm cleaning up and I'm moving on, going straight and choosing life. I'm looking forward to it already.
The end. Trainspotting came out in 1996 and received an R18+ rating. As if a film about heroin addiction, dead babies and the world's worst toilet actually needed a content warning. Trainspotting is one of those rare cinematic unicorns. A deeply disturbing film that still gets invited to the cool kids table and somehow manages to become a cult classic. I once actually tried to read the novel, but Irvin Welsh seems to write in some kind of phonetic acid trip that basically made my brain check into early retirement. The film, thankfully, is a little more coherent, if you count a surreal descent into a carpet during heroin overdose as narrative clarity. Visually, it's grimy in the most poetic way. The characters feel less like actors and more like people you'd avoid eye contact with at a train station. And speaking of the actors, yes, most of them went on to bigger and better things, namely Ewan McGregor. It's probably because Hollywood casting directors saw this and thought, if you can survive that scene, welcome to fucking Hollywood, bud. The soundtrack is legendary, and let's be honest, if you can include an Iggy Pop song and make that scene an emotional experience, you're doing something right. And all those little art house scenes, well, they're sprinkled in like avant-garde seasoning, just enough to remind you, hey, this is cinema, not just people shooting up in a flat that smells like mold and regret. The humour in Trainspotting is dark and fleeting and is basically the emotional equivalent of finding a breath mint in landfill. It still works, but it shouldn't. Personally, Trainspotting didn't change my life. It did make me reconsider my relationship with public restrooms, but I get why people worship it. It's stylish, shocking, and smarter than it lets on. And as for the title, Trainspotting, well, I didn't spot a single train, so figure that one out. Let me know in the comments how that works. Right, it's that time. We're going to work out an average between how good Trainspotting was and how disturbing Trainspotting was. And I'm going to try and make that process as fair as possible. First off, I'm going to give Trainspotting a rating for just how good I think it is as a movie. And I'm going to give it a 70.9. It's up there with some of the greats. Now, to be fair, my opinion differs with the general audience quite often. So I'm going to go to the most popular movie review pages and try to get a gauge on what you guys think. It looks like you guys, the audience, are giving Trainspotting a 78.8. So in this case, we're reasonably on par with each other. I'm going to average together my rating with your rating, and when we do that, we get a combined rating of 74.9 for how good we thought Trainspotting was just as a movie. But now we have to see how disturbing we thought Trainspotting was. And, well, there wasn't that much disturbing content, but dead babies rank high, so I'm going to give Trainspotting a 64.9 on the disturbing scale. And lastly, the ultimate rating. We're going to average together how good it was with how disturbing it was. And when we smash those numbers together, looks like we're going to give Trainspotting an ultimate rating of 69.9. That's pretty up there. That's going to rank high. So let's bring in the grand spreadsheet here, all the films we've looked at so far. I think there's about 33. And we're going to whack Trainspotting in here at position number 5. Wow, that is quite impressive. It looks like we think that Trainspotting is slightly more disturbing than Immaculate, but slightly worse than Snowtown. Thanks again for watching another episode of How Disturbing. I'm your host, Billy Bogues. Please throw me a like and subscribe if you've made it this far. It really helps me out. And lastly, if you have a product or service you want promoted for free, I'll do that. Just get in touch. I will promote whatever it is that you've got for free. And having said that, catch you later.